Joining us now is Sky News host James Morrow. James, great to see you again.
Great to be back.
Let's start with what's happening here in Australia. A lot of drama when it comes to politics. Liberal MP Andrew Hastie, he's begun preparing to challenge opposition leader Susan Ley for the Liberal Party leadership, and it seems that the only circumstance in which Hastie would step aside would be as if Angus Taylor can demonstrate more support. What do you make of this? Do you think that a new leader will actually be able to help unite this party?
Look, Susan Ley is a metaphorical dead woman walking in terms of her leadership, but the problem is that, it's terminal, but we don't know how long she's actually going to last. You've got this sitting week happening, the third coming up, which would be the earliest they could do it. But the problem that the coalition, rather the Liberal Party, has right now is they don't have any plan. They don't have any strategy, right? And this is just compounding the mistake that they made at the start of the year, which was to force Parliament to come back early without having a plan with what to do and a plan about what legislation they would offer up once they finally got there. Now they say, okay, well, we've all but taken out the leader, but there's a figurehead, and now we don't know whether it's going to be Andrew Hastie, we don't know if it's going to be Angus Taylor, and so it's a real big mess.
Do you think that, moving forward, if someone like Andrew Hastie does become leader, that would maybe shift support back to the Liberal Party? Because as we've seen, a pretty big rise in support for One Nation.
Well, what they have to have are actual policies. This is the problem. There's no actual substitute for doing the work. And there's a bit of concern around Andrew Hastie that, he attracts a lot of voters who would normally be the ones who we see running off to One Nation and, the ones that the Nats are all concerned about. But at the same time, there's a bit of concern that he's also maybe just a bit more about vibes than actually doing the work. And he had a bit of an own goal, I think, last week when there was a whole debate about the hate speech bills. He voted for them. Okay, you could make a case to say, look, we had to vote for something, and so we got some wins on that. But instead, when he was attacked on this by his supporters, instead of going and saying, look, here's why I did it, you got to understand, he really laid into them on social media. And I just think that was a terrible look.
It's interesting, isn't it? We'll wait and see, of course, what happens. Let's talk about One Nation. We're seeing this massive surge in support for the party, and that, to be honest, doesn't surprise me at all. New research suggests that One Nation may have enough votes to form opposition in federal parliament. You spoke to One Nation leader Pauline Hanson over the weekend on your show Outsiders. Let's just listen.
If we get the number one vote and we get the majority of the votes, the majority of the lower house seats, yes, we can form government. But it's a big ask. And I'm being honest with myself and honest with people. But it is possible. But I think that we'll probably get government in the states before eventually in the federal parliament. But there's nothing stopping us from being opposition first, then working our way towards government.
What do you put Pauline Hanson's success down to at the moment? I mean, is it authenticity, speaking up for the silent majority?
Yeah, it's authenticity. It's also people know what she stands for, right? So nobody knows actually what the Liberal National Coalition stands for at the moment. That's why they split up. The Nats have some pretty clear positions, particularly around green energy and all of that sort of nonsense. And, but within the Libs, they can't even agree on a migration policy at a time when migration is rocketing up the charts of issues people are concerned about, Gab. So this is the crazy thing. They can't even say the words mass migration. They haven't even been able to agree on that terminology. So no wonder they're bleeding support. This is why I say, going back, if you change the leader, you still don't have a platform, and they still need to develop that. Whereas Pauline Hanson, she has been in the game for decades, 20, 30 years. So we know what she stands for. Even if you don't like everything she stands for, you know what she and her party stands for. And I think right now, when everybody sort of sees this as kind of a uniparty choice that's eventually developing here between, the Libs as kind of a Labour light sort of thing and, and not really connected to grassroots people. That's why people agree with her. But on the other hand, if she actually wants to be in opposition, they're going to have a plan for running candidates in seats, including seats in urban areas, and that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And look, I think, as you say, authenticity, knowing what she stands for, I mean, I think that's why you have to put where you have to credit Donald Trump for his success as well. Like him or not, you know exactly where he stands. And it's interesting, while I was over in the US, a lot of people were speaking to me about Pauline Hanson. I mean, her name was what was really cutting through.